story of a young man who is around 15 to 17 years old, and he was an orphan where his father had just left a huge fortune. It was told that that day he was studying with Sheikh Abdul Wahid in Palestine, discussing the Quran letter at Tawbah verse 111. After the study, people went home, but this teenager did not come home. He instead remained sitting in front of Sheikh Abdul Wahid. To this child, Sheikh Abdul Wahid said, "Hi, my son, the study is complete. Please go home, take a rest at home." And then this teenager said, "I have one question for you, O Abdul Wahid." Abdul Wahid replied, "Please ask what you want." Then this child said, "O Abdul Wahid, is it true that Allah buys our souls and bodies our treasures and Allah pays for them with heaven?" Abdul Wahid also answered, "That's right, my son, Allah bought our souls and bodies with heaven." This teenager said again, "Witness, O Abdul Wahid, I sold all my soul and property to Allah, and I want Allah to pay for it in heaven." Actually, Abdul Wahid admires the spirit of this teenager. But he is still too small, he whispered in his heart. Then Abdul Wahid intended to dampen the spirit of this teenager by saying, "O my son, the pain of the wound caused by a sharp sword is more painful than your hopes and dreams. Indeed, your ideals are good, but it's not time for you yet. I'm afraid you won't be strong with the wounds from the sword scratches." Hearing the words of Abdul Wahid is not afraid of this teenager, his enthusiasm is even more burning. Very confidently this teenager said, "O Abdul Wahid, if Allah has clearly said in the Quran that He will buy our souls and bodies with heaven, do we deserve to be afraid?" Abdul Wahid did not expect this teenager to answer like that. In his heart he said, "I'm really amazed by this teenager. Adults don't necessarily want to do that." Then this teenager said, "You are the witness, O Abdul Wahid. I sold my soul and property to Allah and I want Allah to pay me in cash. That is, with heaven. I will prove my words." Then this teen goes. The next day it was time for the Muslim army from Sham to fight against the Romans. And it turns out that the first one to come was yesterday's teenager and would bring a big rap. When he saw this teenager, Abdul Wahid looked unsure. It turns out that this child is serious. So he whispered in his heart. Then Abdul Wahid asked the boy, "Oh my son, what do you bring?" Then this teenager answered by starting the greeting, "Assalamu alaikum Abdul Wahid." Yes, Abdul Wahid. As I emphasized yesterday, that I will sell my soul and property to Allah and I want Allah to pay for it with heaven in cash. Abdul Wahid asked again, "What are you carrying?" This teenager answered, "Look at this, my body and soul are still complete. Nothing is reduced or lost. And these are all the treasures that I have inherited from my parents." Abdul Wahid said again, "Did you bring everything?" "Yes," this young man replied. "Why don't you leave it for you at home?" said Abdul Wahid. This young man answered again, "I don't want to go home. I want to go straight to heaven. I want to be paid in cash." Abdul Wahid was stunned to tears. Then Abdul Wahid said, "May Allah make it easy for your noble intentions to God." Long story short, Muslim armies set out to fight against Rome. All the way because it's far. During the day this teenager reads the Quran, repeats the memorization, keeps his prayers, and he also washes clothes, cooks and serves all the needs of the Mujahideen troops. And at night he performs night prayers, praise to Allah. That's what this teenager has always done. And in the end, what happened to this kid? One day, because of exhaustion, this teenage boy fell asleep during the day, and in his sleep he dreamed of meeting a man. In her dream she met a man, and suddenly the man reached out his hand and said, "Let me show you Ainul Mardiyah." I asked myself, who is Ainul Mardiyah? I was a little hesitant, but because my curiosity was getting bigger, I finally reached out and held his hand. Then he led me. Suddenly I arrived at a very beautiful garden, and the park was filled with incredibly beautiful women. I have never seen their beauty on earth. Then I asked the man who led me, "Is there Ainul Mardiyah among those women?" Then the person who led me answered, "Just ask them." Then I approached the beautiful women in the garden. Then I asked, "Is there any of you named Ainul Mardiyah?" Then someone from the beautiful women answered, "Keep going, young people, later you will find Ainul Mardiyah." Then with great curiosity I continued walking. After walking for a while I met two very beautiful gardens. Where this park is separated by two rivers containing milk, and the other river is honey water, and the taste does not change. And in this garden there is an angel who is much more beautiful than before. And when I saw the beauty of this second angel, I forgot the beauty of the first woman. Then I asked, "Are any of you Ainul Mardiyah?" A beautiful angel answered, "We are not Ainul Mardiyah. We are her helpers." I thought, even the maid is very beautiful. What about Ainul Mardiyah? What kind of beauty is she? Until in the end she met a garden where all the river water is wine that does not change the water in taste. And in every garden there is an angel whose beauty makes you forget the beauty of the previous one, like light upon light. Then I met a tent made of diamonds, and there was only one guard in front of the tent. The beauty of the woman in front of this tent is really very special. I believe this must be Ainul Mardiyah waiting for me. With a heart full of happiness, I called her, "Assalamu alaikum Ainul Mardiyah, your husband has come." Then the very beautiful angel shouted, "Oh Ainul Mardiyah, your husband has come out." Then the door of the tent made of diamonds began to open. Then light after light shone, making my eyes widen in amazement at its beauty. The fragrance makes my soul feel like flying in the sky. I also asked, "Are you Ainul Mardiyah?" Answered the angel, "Yes, I am Ainul Mardiyah. Come closer, O Ainul Mardiyah." "Wait, I am not legal for you, my husband." I said, "We are husband and wife. Why not legal?" I answered curiously. Ainul Mardiyah answered again, "You are still alive in the world. But the two of us can still break the fast together here. Are you fasting?" Soon the Maghrib call to prayer. Then as soon as the call to prayer was sounded, I ate with Ainul Mardiyah. My eyes couldn't seem to escape from seeing the beauty of Ainul Mardiyah. Oh my God, how beautiful you created him. While enjoying company with Ainul Mardiyah, I suddenly woke up. At that time he was muttering and delirious, "Hi Ainul Mardiyah, don't leave me. I'm your husband, where are you going?" Because heard a voice, "This kid. People get together and wake up this teen. Hey, wake up young man, wake up." "What happened young man?" people ask. The young man woke up saying, "Where is Ainul Mardiyah?" Abdul Wahid, who was also there, also said, "What's wrong, son? Who is Ainul Mardiyah?" Astaghfirullah. It turns out that I dreamed that this teenager answered. Then he told all his dreams to Abdul Wahid. And before he could finish telling his dream, suddenly army of Roman soldiers appeared before them. As soon as he saw the Roman troops, this teenager said, "Let me in the front row." "Please young man," replied Abdul Wahid. This young man immediately took a horse and immediately spurred his horse into the middle of the battlefield. Then he came down to face the Roman army. He left his horse, then ran to face the Roman army. Because he was a child and the sword he carried was the sword he inherited from his father. His father's sword is long and big, so his sword is heavy. But what did Abdul Wahid say? For God's sake, I saw his sword as if it was alive and flying, carrying his body. So it was not him who swung the sword, but the sword that carried his body. And for God's sake, in no time, I saw 9 fallen Roman soldiers in front of him. The war got worse and I lost this teenager. Finally, we thank Allah, the war we won. We have made many Roman soldiers killed and destroyed. But we lost track of this kid. I asked all my soldiers who are still alive, and no one knows, and I didn't find the body. Suddenly a light breeze took me to the young man. A very wonderful smell wafted from the wind Then this wind carried me far from where I was standing. Then I found the young man lying, and he was dead, with wounds all over his body, and his head was almost severed, and he smiled while holding his sword. He is enjoying happiness with the most beautiful angel in heaven. Ainul Mardiyah.